In this world, everyone is very much infatuated by attachments. The attachments which are born of the desires to enjoy the objects of the senses through the senses. Such attachments are the cause of all bondage and therefore the cause of all suffering. Kapiladeva explains that material attachment is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. It is due to this attachment alone that the soul is degraded into a state of complete forgetfulness of its true spiritual nature, and therefore identifies with this phenomena by which one has to suffer the repetition of birth and death. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukha doshanu darshanam. A wise man sees that birth, old age, disease and death, these are the real problems of life. How to free ourselves from the repetition of birth and death. How to fix ourselves in our eternal constitutional position. Jivera swarupoy krishnera nityadas. To be engaged eternally in the loving service of Lord Sri Krishna. The question is the real purpose of spiritual life, to seek the answer. Athato brahma jigyasa. Human life begins when we begin to try to answer this question. How to disentangle myself from the causes of all suffering, material attachment, and attach ourselves to the loving service of the Lord. Kapiladeva explains here, and his words are not just someone's opinion. He is the avatar of Lord Narayan, who represents the supreme opulence of knowledge, Vidya, jnana. Each of the different avatars of the Lord specifically manifested a particular aishvarya or opulence of the Lord. Lord Kapiladeva is especially that avatar that is manifesting the supreme opulence of knowledge. Through his teachings of Sankhya philosophy to his mother Devahuti, everything, materially and spiritually, is explained in such scientific, analytical terms that anyone who studies these teachings, all questions in life on every level will be answered. And he speaks from the supreme authority. Vedaham samatithani vartamana nicharjana vavashani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, He knows everything, past, present and future. He knows every living being. There is nothing unknown to Him. So when Kapiladeva is explaining, we must hear submissively with complete faith. And then the path to real knowledge is open in our life. So here Krishna in His incarnation as Kapiladeva is instructing us that attachment for material sense enjoyment, in fact attachment to anything temporary in this material world, is the cause of entanglement, bondage, suffering, and the repetition of birth and death. But that same attachment, when it is applied to a sadhu, a self-realized devotee, opens the door of liberation. Kapiladeva is not explaining, give up your attachments. There are many philosophers who tell us to do like this. Some philosophers tell us, do not give up your attachments. Enjoy like anything. And think of Krishna. But how can you think of Krishna if you're enjoying like anything? So you see, attachment to material sense objects is the greatest cause of entanglement. Therefore, such so-called religious people who teach, just go on doing whatever you want to do and chant this mantra. You do not need to change your diet. You do not need to change your lifestyle. Just have faith. You will be saved. This is kaitava dharma. This is cheating religion. And others say you must completely cut all attachments. But how is it possible? It is the nature of the soul to be attached to something. It is impossible to cut all attachment. Temporarily we may be able to do so. Just like if you have a weed and you cut it, it's going to grow back. You may not see it for some time, but it's going to grow back. So trying to cut our attachments to this material world is like cutting a weed. It's going to grow back. We may feel liberated for the time being as long as we do not see it, but it is just a matter of time. Therefore, Kapila Muni is explaining the true art of disentangling ourselves from the bondage of this world. That whatever attachments you have, just redirect it. Become attached to a self-realized devotees. Become attached to the association of devotees. This is what he's saying. Sadhu Satsang. To the degree we are attached to the Sadhu Satsang, the association of true devotees of the Lord, to that extent we will naturally be immune and detached from the objects of illusion. Therefore, Kapiladeva explains that this is the real beginning of spiritual life. To learn how to seek refuge in the association of devotees. Another great incarnation of Krishna, Rishabdev, he has said, Mahat sevam dwaram ahur vimuktes tamodwaram yoshita sanghi sangam. That by service to Mahatmas, to sadhus, the doors to liberation are opened wide. And by associating with materialistic people, too much attached to sense enjoyment, the doors to bondage and ignorance are opened wide. Who we associate with will determine our whole future in life. Everything is dependent, according to the Lord's words, on the association we keep and how we associate with those persons. So not to kill attachment, but to transfer it. This is the real path of bhakti.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.